Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring something really cool, how Huawei envisions the future of cars. We'll be taking a close look at their white paper that forecasts what the automotive landscape will look like in 2030.
Yeah, and it's not just about like flying cars or anything like that. We're talking about a fundamental shift in what a car is. It's about the convergence of two massive trends, electrification and intelligence.
Okay, so more than just trading gas stations for charging stations then. When Huawei talks about intelligent cars, what exactly do they mean?
Well, think about it this way. In the future, your car will be constantly learning and improving thanks to software. In fact, Huawei predicts that by 2030, a whopping 82% of new cars sold in China will be electric. But even more mind-blowing is the idea that data plus software will actually become the defining factor in a car's quality.
Wow, so it's not just about horsepower at 0 to 60 times anymore. So does this mean that Huawei is planning to build their own car?
Not exactly. They actually describe themselves as an incremental component supplier. Basically, they want to provide the crucial tech pieces that make these intelligent electric cars possible.
So not building the whole car, but like providing the brains and nervous system. That makes sense considering their expertise in ICT. What kind of components are we talking about here?
Well, think about it. You need super powerful in-car computers to process all the data from sensors and run complex software for things like autonomous driving. Then you also need lightning-fast communication networks within the car to connect all these different systems seamlessly.
Wow, it sounds like they're turning cars into like rolling supercomputers.
Mm-hmm.
We're still talking about like cars that people actually drive though,
Yes.
right? What does all this mean for the everyday driving experience?
Well, that's where it gets really exciting. The shift towards intelligent electric cars isn't just about the tech under the hood. It's going to radically transform how we interact with our vehicles and how those vehicles interact with the world around them.
Okay, I'm officially intrigued. Less Knight Rider fantasy and more like real world changes. Can you give me some specifics, like what kind of driving experience can we actually expect in this future that Huawei's predicting?
Okay, so imagine charging your electric car is as quick as driving 1 kilometer. And with software-defined vehicles, your car's features and performance could actually improve over time through updates. It's like buying a car and knowing that it's going to get better as you own it.
That is incredible. It's like my car's getting smarter the longer I own it.
Yeah.
What kind of upgrades are we talking about here?
Well, the possibilities are endless. You could upgrade your car's autonomous driving capabilities as the technology evolves. You could subscribe to new entertainment packages for your smart cockpit. The car basically becomes a platform that is constantly evolving.
Hold on, a smart cockpit. That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. What exactly does that entail?
Just imagine this. You step into a car and it recognizes you. It adjusts the settings to your preferences, and it transforms into a personalized entertainment hub, even a mobile office, or even a social space for connecting with friends on the go through augmented reality.
Huawei, really? I could see directions projected right on my windshield. That would be awesome, especially in a new city. But can Huawei actually pull all of this off?
Well, they're not claiming to do it alone. Huawei really emphasizes the importance of collaboration. They believe this future requires partnerships between car companies, tech giants, and software developers.
So it's not just about competition, it's about cooperation working together to achieve a common goal. This technology is going to impact everything from our cities to our daily lives. But before we get too carried away with visions of the future, let's break down some of these concepts in a bit more detail. And let's start with intelligent driving.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Huawei's vision of the automotive future. We left off talking about intelligent driving, so let's pick up there. Huawei predicts that by 2030, self-driving robo-taxis will be commonplace, offering affordable and accessible transportation 24/7.
Yeah, that would be a total game changer. Imagine never having to worry about parking or like designated drivers ever again. But beyond just like personal convenience, what kind of impact would this have on our cities and daily lives?
Well, think about the possibilities for people who are currently unable to drive, like those with disabilities or senior citizens. This technology could give them a level of independence and mobility that they've never had before. And for everyone else, it could mean reclaiming those hours wasted in traffic, turning commutes into productive or relaxing time.
So it's not just about like getting from point A to point B, it's about like transforming the entire experience of transportation. But this level of autonomy requires some serious brain power, right? What's going on like under the hood of these intelligent cars?
Well, that's where Huawei's expertise in ICT comes in. To handle all the complex calculations needed for autonomous driving, you need some incredibly powerful in-car computers. We're talking about processing massive amounts of data from sensors in real time.
So basically turning the car into like a rolling data center. But all those sensors are just collecting raw information, right? How do they actually make sense of it all?
That's where AI steps in. AI algorithms analyze that sensor data, recognize patterns, and help the car make decisions, like identifying obstacles, predicting pedestrian movements, and navigating complex traffic situations.
So AI is essentially like the intelligence in intelligent vehicles. It's like the brain that turns all that sensor data into action.
Exactly. And as AR technology continues to advance, these systems are just going to become even more sophisticated, leading to safer and more efficient autonomous driving capabilities. But it's not just about the brain, you also need a robust nervous system to carry those signals throughout the car.
Right. Connecting all the sensors, computers, and systems. What are they doing to make sure that everything communicates smoothly and quickly?
Well, we're talking about lightning-fast in-car communication networks. Think of it like the nervous system of a human body, relaying information from the brain to every part of the car instantly. Huawei is leveraging its expertise in communication technologies like Ethernet and even exploring optical communication within the car to ensure incredible speed and bandwidth.
That's amazing. So we got the brain power, the nervous system. Now let's talk about the senses of these intelligent vehicles. The white paper mentions a whole array of sensors: radar, LiDAR, cameras, ultrasonic sensors. It's like giving the car like superhuman perception.
Exactly. These sensors work together to create a comprehensive and redundant picture of the car's surroundings, allowing it to navigate safely and make informed decisions. But combining data from multiple sensors can be tricky. That's where sensor fusion comes in.
Hold on, sensor fusion.
Yeah.
What exactly is that?
It's like giving the car multiple sets of eyes and then teaching it to combine what it sees into one incredibly accurate view of its environment. So if one sensor misses something, another one can catch it, making the system as safe and reliable as possible.
So we've got the brains, the nervous system, the senses, all working together to make autonomous driving a reality. But let's not forget about the human inside the car. What about the driver's experience in this intelligent electric future?
Well, that's where the smart cockpit comes in. And it's much more than just a fancy name for a car interior. Think about it. If you don't have to focus on driving, the car can become a personalized space for relaxation, entertainment, work, or even socializing.
So it's not just about like getting from A to B, it's about what you do during the journey. Can you give me some specifics? What will these smart cockpits actually be like?
Well, imagine a car that recognizes you as you approach. It adjusts the seat, the temperature, and the music to your preferences. It can even anticipate your needs based on your schedule and your driving habits.
So it's like a personal assistant on wheels. But what about entertainment? Will it be like having a movie theater inside my car?
Think even bigger than that. Augmented reality could overlay information onto the real world, so you could see navigation directions projected right onto your windshield. Or get real-time information about landmarks as you drive by. And with 5G connectivity, the possibilities for streaming and interactive entertainment are almost endless.
But hold on, 5G, what role does that play in all this?
Well, 5G will be crucial for connecting cars to the cloud and to each other, enabling real-time communication and data sharing. This opens up a whole world of possibilities for features like remote vehicle diagnostics, over-the-air software updates, and even real-time traffic information that can help optimize your route and avoid congestion.
So the car becomes part of a larger connected ecosystem. It's like turning the car into like a node on the Internet of Things. This is getting pretty mind-blowing. But with all this technology on board, what about safety? How do they ensure that these intelligent cars are actually safe to drive?
That's a great question, and it's one that Huawei takes very seriously. They're approaching safety from multiple angles, including rigorous testing and validation procedures, building in redundant systems, and implementing robust cybersecurity measures to prevent hacking and data breaches.
So it's not just about building cool features, it's about building them responsibly and ensuring that safety is a top priority. But all this technology and innovation doesn't come cheap, right? Won't these intelligent electric cars be incredibly expensive?
That's a valid concern. But it's important to remember that technology tends to become more affordable over time. As production scales up and innovation continues, the cost of these technologies will come down, making them accessible to a wider range of consumers. Plus, you have to consider the long-term savings on fuel and maintenance with electric vehicles.
That's a good point. And if we're talking about like the future of the entire automotive industry, it's not just about the cars themselves, right? It's about the entire ecosystem that supports them.
You're absolutely right. The shift towards intelligent electric vehicles will have a ripple effect on everything, from infrastructure and energy production to urban planning. For example, we'll need a robust charging infrastructure to support millions of electric vehicles.
And what about the environmental impact? Is this truly a more sustainable path for transportation?
The shift towards electric vehicles is definitely a step in the right direction in terms of reducing emissions. But we need to consider the entire life cycle of these vehicles, from the mining of raw materials to the disposal of batteries, to ensure a truly sustainable approach.
That makes sense. It's about looking at the bigger picture and considering all the factors involved. But, while we're still in this transition phase, there are going to be challenges and complexities to navigate.
Absolutely. This transition won't happen overnight. There will be hurdles to overcome, new regulations to develop, and a need for ongoing collaboration between governments, industry, and consumers to make this vision a reality.
So it's a journey, not a destination. And speaking of journeys, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, but there's still so much to explore. In Part 3, we'll take a closer look at some specific scenarios and use cases that Huawei envisions for this intelligent electric car future. All right, so welcome back to our final part of this deep dive, looking at Huawei's vision for the future of cars. We've talked a lot about the technology that is driving this transformation, but now I want to get to the fun part. What will this future actually look like?
Well, get ready to have your mind blown. Huawei is painting a picture where intelligent vehicles are seamlessly woven into our lives, changing how we work to how our cities function.
Okay, I am all ears. Let's start with something we touched on earlier, those self-driving robotaxis. What kind of impact could they have on our everyday lives?
Imagine you just step out of your apartment building and hail a robotaxi. It takes you to work completely autonomously. You don't have to hunt for parking, deal with rush hour traffic, or even own a car if you don't want to.
That would be pretty amazing, especially for someone like me living in a crowded city. But beyond personal convenience, what are the bigger implications of widespread robotaxi adoption?
Well, think about increased accessibility. People with disabilities, senior citizens, anyone who's currently unable to drive themselves could suddenly have a level of independence and freedom they've never had before.
That's a really powerful point. It's not just about convenience, it's about making transportation more equitable and accessible for everyone. But if we're all zipping around in these robotaxis, what happens to our cities?
Well, that's where the concept of smart cities comes in. Huawei envisions a future where intelligent vehicles and urban infrastructure work together seamlessly. Cars could communicate with traffic lights to optimize traffic flow and reduce congestion and emissions.
So it's not just about the cars themselves, but how they fit into a larger ecosystem.
Exactly. Imagine receiving real-time updates about parking availability or charging stations directly in your car's navigation system. Or picture your car automatically adjusting its speed to match the flow of traffic. It's creating a smoother and more efficient driving experience for everyone.
Okay, so intelligent vehicles are transforming transportation, reshaping our cities. What about the in-car experience, those smart cockpits we talked about earlier?
Get ready for a truly personalized experience. Imagine a car that recognizes you and adjusts the seat and temperature to your liking. It even plays your favorite music.
So it's like a car that knows me better than I know myself.
In a way, yes. But it's not just about comfort and convenience. Huawei also envisions smart cockpits that can monitor your well-being.
Hold on, my car is monitoring my health. That's kind of creepy.
Think of it more like a helpful co-pilot. Sensors can detect signs of drowsiness or stress and suggest maybe taking a break or adjusting the cabin environment to create a more relaxing atmosphere.
Okay, so it's about keeping the driver safe and alert rather than intruding on their privacy.
Exactly. And beyond safety, imagine the possibilities for entertainment and productivity. With augmented reality, your windshield could become like a giant heads-up display. It could show navigation directions, points of interest, or even real-time information about the businesses that you're passing.
Wow. So it's like having a tour guide built into my car.
Yep.
And if I'm not driving myself, I could use that time to catch up on work, watch a movie, or even have a video call with friends.
Exactly. The car transforms into a multi-purpose space, an extension of your home or office.
This is all incredibly futuristic and exciting. Let's be realistic, though. How far away are we from actually experiencing this kind of intelligent electric car future?
Well, some of these technologies are already being implemented in cars today, like advanced driver assistance systems and connected features. But the truly transformative stuff, like fully autonomous driving and seamless integration with smart cities, that's still a few years away.
So it's more of a gradual evolution rather than an overnight revolution.
Exactly. And it's not just about the technology, it's about the infrastructure, the regulations, and the social acceptance that need to catch up.
Yeah, it's like building a whole new world, piece by piece. Even though it takes a while, it's really inspiring to think about all the possibilities. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the biggest takeaway that you want our listeners to remember?
I think the future of cars is just incredibly exciting and full of potential. It's not just about technology for technology's sake. It's about creating a more sustainable, efficient, accessible, and enjoyable transportation experience for everyone.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. So to all our listeners out there, keep those imaginations running wild and stay curious about all the amazing things happening in the world of automotive innovation. The future is closer than you think, and it's going to be an incredible ride.